enough from me. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
That's crazy!
90% of my black friends are like, dude, that was great.
What?
We're gonna have the games do our talking. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was having the absolute best day of my life today. Until I scrolled over to Steam and I saw that the reviews for The Last of Us PC port have gone from mostly negative to mixed. God damn it! I wanted this game's reputation to be terrible on PC. That's all I wanted. And now it's mostly mixed when honestly it doesn't even deserve to be on Steam. I saw Cyberpunk removed off the PlayStation Store for far less. But when it's Sony's turn, instead they leave it up on Steam, still collecting money, shamelessly. Never in my life would I have imagined that out of all of the ports from PlayStation to come to PC, The Last of Us, you know, what's basically supposed to be Sony's magnum opus, would be the port they gimped out on. The Last of Us is supposed to represent Sony at their absolute best. This is what represents the PlayStation brand. The Last of Us is their baby, so we were all expecting them to handle it carefully. They weren't just gonna let anybody port that game, or so we thought. But as it turns out, they handed it over to the same jackasses that were responsible for what is quite possibly the second worst PC port of all time, Arkham Knight 2015. I didn't think it was possible for that studio to outdo themselves, but I guess The Last of Us was the perfect opportunity to prove to everyone that they're still trash. I'm going to ask exactly how do these motherfuckers still have a job? And why are they being given the most important IPs in the industry? How are they still able to put food on the table, releasing things like this? Did everyone just forget about Arkham Knight? Did Sony, who's supposed to be #1 in the industry with the heaviest quality control, did they forget who this studio was? I'm telling you, Jim Ryan has been spending far too much time with the CMA. The PSVR 2 is flopping, Forspoken was utter trash, The Last of Us PC port is garbage, there ain't nothing to play until Spider-Man 2. Fly back home already, Jim, and fix your company. Jesus Christ, you're not Ubisoft and you're not EA, what the hell? I may be a hardcore Sony hater, but I expect better. And what's even more hilarious is the silence of all the journalists out there. I guarantee you, if this was the state of release of any of Xbox's first-party titles on PC, you would not be hearing the end of it for a week. Meanwhile, Sony releases one of the worst PC ports in history, and we're supposed to laugh it off, like people didn't just pay full price and hand their money over to Sony, who said, "F you, we're gonna take your money," knowing how bad this game is. No, instead, there's a lot of gaslighting going on, and PC gamers are being blamed and told, well, this is what you get. You should have gotten a PS5. It's very odd how protected Sony is during a time like this, because nobody else in the industry would be getting away with it. So far, a total of only 6 reviewers for the PC port of The Last of Us remake? You really mean to tell me only 6 people reviewed the biggest PlayStation IP on PC?
Really makes you think.
I knew things were sus when Naughty Dog didn't hand out any review codes for this port. I knew something was off. But now that it's come out and only 6 reviewers have touched it, you begin to wonder, is it really that hard for a lot of these journalists to criticize PlayStation? Let me guess, they don't want to turn out to be like Steve Ivor. They don't want to lose access to their review codes from PlayStation, huh? Let me guess, you're all going to review it when it's finally playable, huh? Yeah, let's not talk about how Naughty Dog doesn't know how to utilize CPU usage. Let's talk about how they made a port that takes 2 hours to load shaders. No, never mind, actually, let's not talk about that, because remember, it doesn't reflect the true quality of the game. I mean, the fact that this game is sitting at a 56 already lets you know the reviewers let people down. Seriously, a 56 in its current state? Are they out of their minds? I couldn't name you many IPs that would get away with this. Again, we're talking about The Last of Us. I was expecting 200 plus reviewers to have their reviews out on this game by now. A PC port of The Last of Us is big news, yet most are choosing to ignore that it even happened, and we know why. No, but if you think that's bad, it pales in comparison to all the corporate shills out there celebrating and congratulating Sony for not putting out a good port. Who the hell's doing that, Frit? Well, people like Greg Miller.
And while we're here, there's something I've been meaning to do for a long time. So hold on. I want to do this. So I just added pronouns to my Twitter bio.
You're one of those heroes, aren't you?
It's a gay bomb, baby.
Well, why are you giving me that confused look? Oh, that's right. People forgot who Greg Miller is. Because even jackasses like me get more views than he does. Greg Miller is what is Greg Miller? Well, what I've been able to find is that apparently he works for WWE now. Great, and it's WrestleMania season, so you can expect to see him on your TV. Thanks, Vince McMahon. Thanks, Triple H. He was an editor for IGN, so we're off to a bad start already. And that's about it. Other than the YouTube channel, Kinda Funny, that he runs that doesn't even get the viewership I get, that's all there really is to know about Greg Miller. The last time I remember hearing this man's name was when he threw Colin Moriarty under the bus for a goddamn joke on Twitter. Well, to be fair, Fred, it wasn't just any joke. It was a joke directed at women. That's a good point. Very good point. That's the worst type of joke you can make. Not allowed to do that anymore. Though wait, there's also another time I remember hearing Greg Miller's name. That's when this dude wouldn't shut the fuck up and kept begging everybody and all of his followers to vote for Joe Biden.
Like, listen, we don't want bigots. We don't want transphobes. We don't want horrible fucking people in our community or watching our content. What I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to ask you to please vote for Joe Biden.
So much so to the point that he promoted a Joe Biden custom island in Animal Crossing. I'm not kidding you. He did that. We got goddamn Joe Biden in our Animal Crossing game because of jackasses like him.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go to the official Joe Biden campaign island on Animal Crossing. We are debuting it. It is called Biden HQ. At the end of this stream, we'll give out the dream code so you yourself can go and be a part of it and see what is up with it. Obviously, it's quite the honor to be a part of this, to go and do this stuff and have see what's up with Biden Island in all its glory, right, Gary?
I'm excited. This is really cool.
Now,
think about it for a second. Right off the bat, we know what we're dealing with. A soy boy cuck. I mean, my God, he's already got a natural soy face, and he even has the stupid fucking glasses they all wear. The man looks like he straight up buys feet pics. All right, so he likes little kids getting into Joe Biden through Animal Crossing, and he doesn't tolerate jokes made about women. So, what is this guy all about? Well, you see, the thing about Greg Miller is he's a woke comedian. While he may not find edgy humor hilarious, he finds joking about PC gamers to be the pinnacle of comedy.
on behalf of all PlayStation players, got you, you dumb bitch.
Goddamn.
I told you how long ago, buy the console. You're like, now I want 100 million frames a second, blah, blah. Well, how about 14 crashes in 4.5 hours? You stupid idiot. You stupid fucking idiot. How stupid do you look right now, huh? When it crashes and your screen goes black and you see the reflection of your goblin self hunched over with your mouse and keyboard, do you go, oh my God, I've wasted my life with my drivers. Oh, my 4080 can't run this game. Oh no, what do I do? It's not too late. TurboTax, finish your taxes. Sell this fucking piece of trash. I don't care that it glows blue and it's got some coolant. And oh, look, it runs an anime on my graphics card while it goes. You seen this kind of people are doing to these things now?
It runs an anime on my graphics card?
I've seen screens on graphics, like the inside. You know, you got the. It doesn't matter. Anyways, you're all spending too much money on your fucking PCs that can't even run The Last of Us Part 1. I warned you. I begged you to support the Vita. You didn't. This is what you get. You reap what you fucking sow, PC players.
Now I'm beginning to see why Colin Moriarty was the one who made it on the Joe Rogan podcast and not Greg Miller. Are you beginning to realize now that Colin Moriarty was the heart and soul of whatever channel he was trying to build? Colin was the funny one, Greg was the emotional one. And it's even more evident now than ever. This is what Greg Miller thinks a comedy routine is. The only way you could ever find this funny is if you were an angry PlayStation guy who never wanted your games on PC. See, now maybe the joke would work if Greg Miller himself didn't look like the type of nerd he was making fun of. Some people will argue Greg Miller doesn't mean it, but honestly he does. He does not like PC gamers. He is legitimately happy about it. You can see it in his eyes. The guy has so much pent-up frustration and anger towards PC gamers. This is the one time he was allowed to finally talk shit. And that's fine. I'm alright with people talking shit towards the PC side. But they can't be looking like someone I used to shove in a locker. They gotta look like somebody I wouldn't mess with. Greg Miller looks like the type of dude that would stop you from hitting on a woman like that guy did in the Gillette commercial. Now, I don't have to logically argue with him why I wouldn't get a PS5. It should be obvious. PS5 sucks. Duh. But most importantly, I want these sales to hurt Sony. I don't want to go buy a PS5 and support Naughty Dog after this horrendous port. What, you really want me to hand Sony $550 and then hand them another $70 for the game after what just happened? I didn't think it was possible to corporate shill on this level, but then again, the man did dedicate part of his life to advocating for Joe Biden, so, I mean, to be fair, nobody should be supporting this game in the first place. It's a remake of a game that never needed it. Not to mention an emulated version of The Last of Us runs better on PC anyway. It doesn't matter how many times he tries to do a white guy's version of the Bill Cosby funny voice. Now, I ain't convinced. I am much happier with my RGB than I am with the port of The Last of Us, okay? You're goddamn right I will take some cherry keys over The Last of Us. You're damn right I'll stick to my 144 hertz monitor over the port of The Last of Us. Wanna know why? Because those are products that have always worked for me, and that is apparently something Naughty Dog can't make. Now, unfortunately, Greg Miller thought he made a funny, so he went for a part 2. And it hurts me to say this, but our boy Alex thought it was funny.
Why do old people always have to ruin the fun?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Greg Tech Tip. Now, as you know, Last of Us Part 1 is having a lot of trouble running on PC, but I found a foolproof technique to make it run on any machine. So, the problem actually begins right here. As you can see, we are on Steam, right? That's the issue right there, ladies and gentlemen. So what you want to do is just shut down your computer. There's no reason you should be using it. What you should do is then walk to your living room, TV, couch area, and hopefully you live with someone smarter than you, and they own a PlayStation 5. Now, what you want to do is sit down, hover over the Last of Us Part 1 tile, and then click X. And this is going to blow your mind. It loads right there, and it's ready to play. It's almost as if this game was designed to run on one machine, rather than having to be on the multitude of madness here of any other PC it could run on possibly. You jump in there, you can get to playing The Last of Us Part 1 right away. Now, as I said, press X. That's another thing that might blow your mind. This is a controller. About 50 years or so, everybody said, man, keyboards and mouse, that's no way to play a video game. Let's make a controller. So they made this so you could play like a grown-up. While we're here with things that might blow your mind, this is a bar of soap. Now, I know you PC gamers haven't touched soap since the last time your parents gave you a bath. You went downstairs into the basement, and you've been playing your Sim City and your real-time strategy Civil War games, hunched over like Gollum, just tapping away on the WASDas using the mouse and keyboard. Next time you put in a DoorDash order for Mr. Pibb, DiGiorno pizzas, and whatever the hell else it is that keeps you people alive in your filth and slop, why not order a bar of soap? This has been another Greg Tech Tip.
This isn't funny! I'm sorry, but how can you call this man salt top tier at this point? The man only knows mids! Alex only knows mids! I don't know, maybe when I reach 40, I'll also find it funny. But did anybody else here notice that Greg Miller uses Dove? He didn't just get that soap from nowhere. I mean, clearly it came from somewhere. Now, I would recommend to all of you what soap to use, but I don't have a soap sponsorship yet. But anything made out of weed will work. Greg Miller recommending Dove for men. Now that is the joke. Cause get it? PC gamers smelly, very stinky.
Wow, what a great audience.
I don't know, I mean, I think this is up there with Jim Sterling's attempt at doing stand-up comedy. The only offensive thing about it is how unfunny it is. See, this would have been the perfect opportunity to roast Griffin Gaming, but instead Greg Miller made a body wash joke. Man could have legit played audio clips of Griffin Gaming bragging about his GPU. But no, he had to run to his shower and grab a bar of dough for men. For fuck's sake, Linus Tech Tips has made better memes out of PC gamers. It just goes to show you that everything about Greg Miller is corporate, even his comedy. This is why the channel started to die after they lost Colin. Well, poor attempt at a joke aside, anybody here else notice that Sony making a bad port is simply being laughed off? We're taking a brief moment to laugh at PC gamers, but if this were any other company, there would be some serious outrage right now. Hell, even Naughty Dog decided to gaslight their own paying customers.
The Last of Us Part 1 PC players. We know some of you have not experienced the Naughty Dog quality you expected. Our team is working hard to resolve issues currently preventing some of you from experiencing the game, to ensure it reaches the quality level you expect and deserve. A hot fixed dressing, jittering on mouse, controlled camera movement, some crashes, and more for The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is slated for Tuesday. A larger patch with additional fixes will be deployed later in the week. We also encourage players to ensure you are using the latest NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel drivers. Our team and our dedicated partners at Iron Galaxy will continue to investigate and address known issues to deliver the great The Last of Us Part 1 experience you expect.
Did you guys hear that? Did you make sure to check your AMD drivers, your NVIDIA drivers, your Intel drivers? Did you make sure, guys? Are you sure you didn't make sure? Well, don't worry, we're investigating it. Yeah, we're working on it. What was that? We should have done that before release? Yeah, well, we didn't have time, but we'll get to it. Don't worry. Be sure your drivers are good. Oh, was that Joel just doing blackface? Must be your AMD drivers. Did you get them checked? Honestly, I don't know what else Naughty Dog could have said. All I do know is they should have said nothing. Should have just pulled it from the store, given everybody a full refund, and try again when the port is actually finished. Cause as it stands, it's practically an unfinished port. And Naughty Dog knew that. They knew that very well. They really went with the better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission approach on this. They knew very well from the start what they were going to publish, so you can fuck off with your apology. If you were truly sorry, you would have never published it to begin with. If you had no issues taking people's money knowing the state of this port, then I don't expect you to take any issues when people start pirating the shit out of it. And I don't want to hear Sony crying if they're not making the sales they expected on PC. But most importantly, they're not receiving the praise they want to receive on the PC. Naughty Dog is supposed to be the untouchable developer, so a blunder like this absolutely exposes the shit out of them. And this is not what they need after The Last of Us 2. I am going to laugh my ass off if Starfield turns out to be a less buggy, glitchy game than The Last of Us on PC. Could you just imagine a Bethesda game being more polished than a Naughty Dog game? Anyone who gave this game anything higher than a 0 is a disingenuous asshole. The only thing that flawlessly worked about this game was the pre-order button. Yet some reviewers are claiming that they got lucky and it's one of the best ports they ever played, which we all know is complete bullshit. It just amazes me to see the mainstream be so silent about it. They're not gonna let a bad PC port of The Last of Us ruin that beautiful, precious sex scene of Bill in The Last of Us TV show. I swear to God, I know I keep repeating myself, but it's true. If this were any other game right now, it would be dragged through the fucking mud. But since it's The Last of Us, one of the most protected games of all time, it's not a big deal. We can let it slide. We'll review it when it's in better shape. Cause if we review it now, it's gonna be reviewed poorly and we can't do that. I swear to God, seeing reviewers pick and choose when they want to review something out of convenience is just proving Gamergate right. We can't pretend like it's just any coincidence reviewers chose not to talk about this game. There are more reviews on Returnal for PC on Metacritic than there are for this port. And instead of talking about it, we gotta gaslight all the PC gamers, because these console peasants just can't help themselves. They're still holding on to that grudge. They'll never forgive us for taking their games away. And I don't even know why they're mad at us about it. We didn't ask Sony. They're the ones who decided to come over here and start porting, yet they never take it up with Sony. They always gotta take it up with us. Well, I'll say this, PlayStation guys, you got your W. We got a bad port of The Last of Us. And it sucks twice as hard for me because I never wanted this game on PC to begin with. But it's fine, I'll live to see another port. Hopefully of something I actually want, but this is Sony. They'd give me a ray-traced version of Abby's sex scene before they'll ever give me Jak and Daxter. So we're just gonna have to ride it out. We must suffer through The Last of Us to finally get that Bloodborne port. Oh god, that's when you know I need to put down the Molly. It's been giving me a false sense of hope. It's why I keep thinking I'm gonna reach 60,000 subs. Well, either way, while you're here, we'll try to make it happen. So you should like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. That being said, I'll see you in the next one.
If I knew that I didn't wait on this story, for Tango Plays would have made a video roasting me for about 30 minutes.
Goddamn right.